Good morning, happy Sunday morning. It's Christine Crutcher from Create with Christine, and I am here with Sunday Live Morning Stamping. So thanks for tuning in this morning, whether you're watching me live or catching the replay. I have a sweet and simple card this morning, and I'm featuring the Wrapped in Christmas stamp set, and I have it paired up with the Heartwarming Hugs Designer Series paper. I'm actually using 4 products from the Heartwarming Hugs Mega Suite, and this is on pages 8 to 11 in the mini catalog. So here's a look at the stamp set. There's 2 stamp sets in this suite. So this is the one that's got all the greetings wrapped in Christmas. And I am collaborating with demonstrators from across the world, and we're raising money for Making Strides Against Breast Cancer. Now, normally we have an in-person event. It would have been yesterday, October 31st, and due to the pandemic, we had to come up with a different idea this year. So we decided to do Stamp Out Breast Cancer at home, and it was going to be 16 cards was the original plan, and it ended up being 22 projects. So some of them are gift card holders, and I'll post the link below, but it's going to be a PDF tutorial, and if you donate $25, you will get the PDF emailed to you. So this is the card that I designed as part of the team. And if you already donated, thank you so much. If you donated under a different demonstrator, that is totally fine too. We're all collaborating together to raise money for this charity. So I will say, I'm going to give you 2 weeks. And if you donate under me by November 15th, I'm going to raffle off the A Merry Hello stamp set, which this is a Hostess stamp set from the mini catalog. So if you donate $25, you'll get the PDF tutorial emailed to you. And if you donate under my link, which I will post in the notes below of this video, you will be in the raffle for the A Merry Hello if you donate in the next 2 weeks. So I think that's about that, and then let's actually get stamping. So I'm gonna put the camera down on my table, so hold tight for a minute. Okay, so here is my card, and again, here's the A Merry Hello that I'm gonna be raffling off, and then here is the Wrapped in Christmas stamp set that I'm using. So let me make sure I can find myself in the feed, and we will go ahead and get started. So let's do our stamping first. This is a super sweet and simple card. You just got to break down the steps. So I used one of the sketches that I really loved, and that was my kind of jumping off point. So I had to go back. It was an old Casing Tuesday sketch, I believe from 2018. So we're going to do our stamping first. So I'm going to bring over a piece of Whisper White cardstock. And because I actually want to stamp first because I want to cut this out with the largest square in the stitched shapes dies. So I have my square at 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 because that gives me a little bit of room to cut out after I stamp. So I have It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year stamp, and I'm going to stamp in real red ink. All my colors that I'm using come right from the Designer Series paper. So it totally looked like the most wonderful time of the year here. It snowed on Friday. And so we're going to stamp down in the corner because then again I want to cut it out with my dies, or with my die. So yes, it looked like the most wonderful time of the year because we got our first snowfall. And just to save time for the video, I went ahead and cut out a piece. So it's going to look like this after you cut it out with your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And then I wanted to use the embossing folders in this suite. So let me bring them over. You get 2. They're called the Wrapped in Texture embossing folders. And you get 2 designs. And these are I think they've been around maybe since the annual catalog, but they're kind of long and skinny. So they're different size from our normal embossing folders. So I ended up doing this kind of more texture-ish one for the Mossy Meadow. And then I did my Pine Tree Punch and the one with the dots. So, oh, I hope you saw both of those. I think it's fine. So my Mossy Meadow is 2x4, and like I said, I just embossed that to save time. And then my tree, oh, let me do my tree. I'll show you really quick. I just have a 2x4 piece of Pear Pizzazz. And hi Sherry, good morning. And then I'm gonna come over and punch out with my Pine Tree Punch. So, and then what I did is I ran my tree after I embossed. I ran this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss folder. So you get an embossed tree that looks like this. So I'm kind of moving ahead a little bit, but that's okay. So here are my pieces so far. So when you break it down, it's really super sweet and simple. And I guess I gotta go this way a little bit. I've been kind of playing around. I used to use a mat as my base, and now I'm just kind of using my table as my guide. So I think I'm in the shot with all my pieces. So actually, let's start putting these things together. So I did, here's the card again. So I just kind of did more of a kind of whimsical design here. So I put my designer series paper down first, which is the Heartwarming Hugs, and then I just have everything a little bit off center. So it kind of makes it look a little whimsical. So I have a Pear Pizzazz card base. I have a piece of the plaid. Isn't this so adorable for Christmas? This is the Heartwarming Hugs. So again, this is going to be one of the projects that you get if you donate to our Stamp Out Breast Cancer 2020. It's a PDF tutorial with 22 projects. And mine is probably one of the more simple ones. There's a couple that are pretty fun and more technique driven, and there's a couple gift card holders, I believe. So there's what we got so far. Then we're going to take our Mossy Meadow piece and kind of have it coming up over the top a little bit, but still be able to see the plaid. So this needs a fair bit of glue on it, this embossing folder. So hopefully this is going to work. You might have to kind of give it a minute to set up and dry. So I'm gonna go quick and hope that it stays in place where I want it. And I just got glue on my finger. Don't do that. So normally when I'm using the liquid glue, it's a little bit goes a long way. But when I'm adhering my embossing folders, I'm more generous with my glue. Okay. So that's where I got so far. I covered up my sentiment. So now I want to put my ribbon on. And this is the ribbon from the Heartwarming Hug Suite. It is the Mossy Meadow Diagonal. So it works perfect for this because all the texture pieces. So there's texture in the ribbon, there's texture on the embossing folders, and even on the plaid paper. So hope I can get these to stick. They might be a little cold. Ah. All right, let me try this one. Ah. Nope. So they don't like this. So I'm gonna have to improvise and get my Stampin' Seal. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of Stampin' Sail across the middle here to tack on my ribbon. So, just like so. And because this ribbon is diagonal, you can cut right on the diagonals. On my original, I have it hanging off just a tad because I kind of cut right along the diagonal. But you can do whatever you want, whatever makes you happy there. And then I'm going to put, actually, let me put my tree on while I'm here. And then I'll put on my dimensionals. So I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue to get my pine tree on here. So I'm doing a kind of mashup. This card is a bunch of products from the annual catalog, including the stitched shaped dies, the pine tree punch, and then I have the stuff from the mini catalog. So I'm going to put dimensionals to pop up over my ribbon. I like to use dimensionals to pop up over my ribbon. So I'll put 3 at the bottom and 3 at the top. And then we'll just remove the backings. I hope you had a nice Halloween. It was very weird here because I live in a city, the 4th largest city in Massachusetts, and they banned door-to-door trick-or-treating due to the pandemic, so it was a little different. I know I can decide kind of where I want this. Maybe I want it a little bit this way, so I have some of the designer series paper peeking out. And then, oh yes, I also from the annual catalog decided to add in some red rhinestones. So these are the red rhinestones, and I really blinged this tree up. So I added 7. I started with 5 and then I ended up putting on 7. So I have a bunch of these. So let's just start adding them. I added 1 at the top. And then what I'd like to do is just take my fingernail and kind of move them. And then you get it stuck to your fingernail, so don't do that. And I totally misplaced my take your pick tool, so I'm just using the tip of my snips, and they keep going everywhere. So this is probably going to take up most of the video getting these things on here. So I guess you get the idea. I just kind of went down and randomly put on 7 of them. So let's see if I can do this really quick and not take your whole morning watching me put rhinestones on a card. I also, yesterday, since we were home and it was chilly, I ended up designing my November card class. So I was going to give you a quick look at that. I'm going to be using the new Curvy Christmas. So I'm up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2 more. It's not as hard as it looks. The trick is trying to move them a tad with your fingernail. So again, thank you to everybody who's already donated to Stamp Out Breast Cancer. I believe we were around 3,000, and I forgot to look this morning before I went live. So there you go. I blinged it up with a whole bunch of red rhinestones from the annual catalog, and here's a look at the original final one, and here's the one I just made. You can cut your ribbon on the diagonal to finish it off, and I wanted to just save a few minutes to give you a quick peek into my November card class. So number 1, actually, I want to thank my friend Kathy. Sent me the cutest fall card this week. So thank you, Kathy. I got this adorable card in the mail all the way from Florida. So that like made my day that day. So thank you so much. And then on this Tuesday, November 3rd, Election Day actually, we're coming out with a Curvy Celebrations suite of products. So what I wanted to do is give a sneak peek into my November card class, which is going to feature the curvy Christmas. So I seem to be hot on this pine tree punch lately. It's between that and green and gold. I'm stuck on that. So here's a quick look at the class I designed with the curvy Christmas and the coordinating dies. So I'll have details posted of that this week. And if you're not on my mailing list already, please shoot me a message and so I can add you to that. And again, if you donate over $25 to Stamp Out Breast Cancer, you're going to get a 22 project PDF tutorial. And this was the card that I designed for the team, featuring the Wrapped in Christmas. And I'll have the link of that below. And again, just to remind you, if you do donate under my link by November 15th, so I'm giving you 2 weeks, I'm going to be raffling off the A Merry Hello stamp set. So I am actually going to bring the camera back up at my face. And okay, so that's it for this week. I hope you have a great week. And I will be back next week on Sunday at 10 o'clock with a Stampin' project to share with you. Bye.